Hey guys, Daisy here with another video, and I suppose this is my first ever video where I get to share my opinion about something, and that this video is longer than most of my videos. For your information, I don't even post on my YouTube. Anyway, my honest opinion about Nod Krai? Let's get started. Okay, so generally, ever since Nod Krai was first announced to be the newest nation of Genshin Impact of 6.x, there was just something so off about it. Like, the nation just in general did not fit in. Many of us were all expecting Snezhnaya to be released straight off the bat with no partial region being its own separate nation or patch, just like the other nations, but instead, we only got just one area that's a part of Snezhnaya. So to sum it up, and that being the main first catch, that honestly made me feel like, oh boy. And it made me really curious on how Hoyo would pull off making an area of Snezhnaya a part of a whole patch, specifically a nation. Then we got the thumbnail, being its main focus on the moon. As a semi-lore player, I didn't really think too much about it because I was like, hooray! Lore about the moons, finally! I mean, literally since really the beginning of Genshin Impact, there were already some subtle lore point-outs about the moon and such, except these point-outs were more like a puzzle for us to solve with many unanswered questions and such. So yeah, lore wasn't too deep with the moons at the time as it is in Nod Krai. For some reference of the moons being talked about in the past, the main screen, in-game, and I forgot the other place, and then Paimon's theoretic lore and all that. I don't read the books, so yeah. I also do remember seeing some moon symbols and lore that were somewhat heavy around the islands of Inazuma, specifically, you know, that one foggy island, as well with Raiden's charged attack. I mean, sure, Hoyo wants to get more into the moon lore that's honestly kind of been talked about a lot in the past, connecting and deep diving it with the mysteries of the moon that's been questionable, yes, but coming back towards the release of Nod Krai, I honestly thought that after Natlan would be Snezhnaya, obviously being split into separate regions as Hoyo has done in the past. Again, not a whole entire region being a whole patch or a nation. I mean, I get that Nod Krai is a part of Snezhnaya and that Snezhnaya is supposed to be this huge continent, so it's reasonable for it to be split into separate nations, but Nod Krai really does not feel like it's even a part of Snezhnaya. It's just a certain feeling I cannot describe. Anyway, let's move on to Nod Krai's character designs. Yeah, I mean, the male designs are fine, but the women's designs are pretty questionable. Not to be so misogynist or something like that. It really doesn't give off the vibe of Snezhnaya being this cold continent, but I suppose because their moon is closer to their land, so it also tends for the climate to be warmer. However, that alone still doesn't make it up for the cold climate Snezhnaya was originally known for. I hope in the future that more soon-to-be added regions that are a part of Snezhnaya, that characters' clothing designs would be more appropriate for its cold climate. Now for Llama's design, it's a pretty canon design of what a llama should be represented as, well with the association of what Hoyo is aiming with Nod Krai's moon lore. Honestly, if Genshin Impact was actually a huge Gunnar game like other gacha games, I guarantee you that Llama's design would have been, well, she'd probably have nothing on or barely anything, so her design is so much more safer. Though, given by where she comes from, I'm so sorry, but that design seriously does not match up well with the climate. The Frostmoon Skylands Enclave looks like it's been built by snow and ice over time, so my first idea was that the enclave was really cold. Even the NPC's character designs fit well with this weather. Seriously, Hoyo? Quite an obsession with bare legs if you tell me. Anyway, her design just lacks, well, clothes. In this weather, her legs definitely would have been freezing. High heels as well? Well, at least add in some ankle-length fur boots or something to keep those bare legs warm. Sure, she could have adapted to it, but could we also talk about her top? Her top looks more like a ready up a bathing suit without her mini skirts, which seriously doesn't match the vibe towards this cold weather of Snezhnaya. So might as well be ready for a summer vacation. But again, it's Genshin, it's Hoyo, so what do I expect? Well, besides those two, all of the other Nod Krai character designs are fine and they do look rather cozy. Except, the women have to unfortunately suffer the bare arms and legs curse. Yehuda, for example, just like my opinion on Nephers, except I appreciate Hoyo for actually trying on her shoe design. Anefa, I still have some questions, but I pretty much got used to her by now, and her design isn't as bad over time. All I have to say is that if they'd make her arms gray instead of a skin color, that'd be fine. I mean, she is an overall robot, right? As for the others, yeah, you could all see what I mean when I say that they're fine. I'm going to be keeping this part short, but I feel like, really, ever since Mavrika's release, Hoyo has been more greedy and setting mechanisms up that are specifically made for whales. Like, the latest 4-star Nod Krai characters don't even apply lunar reactions unless you have a Nod Krai 5-star character, while in Natlan, the 4-star characters could activate Night Soul without the need of a 5-star character. Even with events, Abyss, Theater, and Onslaught, bosses are level 100 plus. The tactics have to be quick, however, I feel like the Abyss is more friendlier than the Theater and Onslaught. Theater is definitely made for whales if you don't have the right characters or if you don't have the right builds. Onslaught is pretty simple since you could use co-op, but it's just like the Abyss in single player where you can't reuse the same characters, and there are bosses that may require the use of the same character, especially if you don't have a character build or have the required character. So it really feels like it's a must to have a Nod Krai character in these current and future patches, especially since there are bosses and buffs solely for lunar reactions, which you can't even trigger with a Nod Krai 4-star character alone. I don't even have to talk about this one. Hoyo has been extremely generous with free-to-play rewards lately, so it makes it really easy for each patch to at least earn or receive a 5-star character or weapon. Events nowadays have given a lot of primo gems, even with the smallest events. Refreshes for the Abyss, Onslaught, and Theater helps a lot, and then we have exploration rewards too. I'd honestly have to say that Hoyo has been the most generous with exploration rewards in these past patches than they have had in the past. Grinding is quite of a struggle for free-to-players if they'd already maxed out everything. I have no comment on Nod Krai's lore honestly, but also because I also kind of forgot what has been happening and lazy to look up more of its lore. Everything that had happened in our conquests really surprised me. Don't hate on me on this, but I really don't pay much attention towards the world quest and, as I already said, the books. Though some things have been all over the place, they all eventually add up in the end. Besides, there's still more to unravel with the future patches. They've made quite a good representation of the moon and culture so far. In fact, Hoyo never really disappoints with the representation in game and in general, except for the characters, unfortunately. However, what really shocked me most was with the resemblance of Conria and how Conria also has applications with the moon. I mean, Conria already has, given by Arlecchino, but we also didn't entirely learn a lot about how Conria was until late Natlan, I think. So it was quite of a refresher that we got to know more about Conria as we've already known in every patch. However, what disappointed me the most about Nod Krai's moon goddess was Columbina. Columbina has taken an extraordinary role with the Nod Krai's role and its affiliation with the moons, but I'm pretty sure we've all heard about the controversy about Columbina that relates towards her character representation. Well, I'm also a part of this because I genuinely dislike the many things that Hoyo has done to Columbina. Columbina has been such an awaited character for so long, and honestly, I'd say her potential was wasted. Many fans and players before her release expected her to be this ominous, aloof, powerful enigma, and not this very comfortable person and what players say, the seat lolly treatment, which that I will talk about in a bit. I mean, we obviously never knew about her character's lore, and aside from the comments the playable Fatui Harbingers have made, so many people assumed that Columbina was going to be like how the fanon imagined it. Never have I ever actually preferred a fanon version of a character. Columbina's vibe honestly suited the fanon version rather than the one Hoyo gave her. I've never really seen Columbina to be this whole moon goddess thing in the first place, and I'm sure many of you have, and before those Columbina glazers get me, yes, I know that she is known to be the damselet, which damsel means fallen god or goddess in other terms, so yes, we knew she was a fallen goddess, but not a specific kind. But how I personally view this, I thought she was going to be like a Seelie, you know? A blast in the past, many theories speculated on Columbina being affiliated with the Seelies because of her unique appearance. We all know that Seelies were once angels that roamed around Teyvat, and so I genuinely thought that Columbina was one of the last Seelies that had the appearance of a human. Her appearance even looks like an ethereal beauty herself, not as to what a moon goddess even looks like. How I speculated a moon goddess to look like would be like a woman with long, wavy or curly hair, a moon pendant on her forehead, something like that. The wings on Columbina unfortunately doesn't scream moon goddess to me, and the fact that Hoyo had to change her design to match up Nod Krai's theme, I mean, I appreciate it, but it still doesn't quite give. I honestly liked the ominous vibe that she gave too, again, fanon version, and what the Fatui Harbingers claimed her to be. But unfortunately, Columbina received the seat lolly treatment from what many players say from the latest art conquest. I haven't done the recent art conquest yet. What kind of goddess honestly does that? No offense or anything. From what I so far see from the interactions we've had with Columbina, she just gets comfortable pretty quickly. However, in the beginning, she didn't seem to be too fond of being comfortable in the first place, stating she didn't like to speak with strangers. And that's honestly because of the way we know her to be. A lonesome goddess seeking to find someone or something to be close to like a family, since she never quite belonged, just quite literally spawned in by prophecy, as well with the desire to know about her past and to claim her frost moon originally. I mean, not bad for a regular character story, but I feel like that's just a really bad story for a god or goddess, since we know that many gods or goddesses have great potential one way or another, past or future, whatever you like to call it. Though the way she acted in the recent art conquest just makes me irk so bad. The cringiness to it, it's just a big no-no, and already given that, I don't even know if her future character is going to be saved. I mean, that honestly depends on Hoyo, of course. So I could definitely see why players stayed Columbina's current state to be seat lolly situation all over again. Big disappointment, honestly. Anyway, I've already posted my own video about this whole thing on my TikTok, so I'd recommend viewing the video. I may pin it on top of my profile since I haven't already, but it's titled The Misrepresentation of Columbina or something like that. I'd honestly say even the character stories are written better than Columbina's, but for my own safety, before I actually do get jumped by the Columbina glazers, I just wanted to say that we definitely have more to see of her story in the future since it's still unfinished, so it's honestly best to wait until the end of the 6.x patch. However, many people do seem to forget what an opinion is, so this is my genuine opinion about Nod Krai so far, and so if my opinion offends you, I'm not quite sure what to say. Anyway, what do I think of Nod Krai? Honestly, all I have to say is that I'm actually quite neutral. There have been bad ends and good ends with the way things are currently looking so far, and there's still a lot more to unravel about Nod Krai, considering that Nod Krai is still a new nation. Ever since the release of Nod Krai and Nod Snaznaya hasn't been fully released, despite Nod Krai being a part of Snaznaya, Nod Krai just doesn't fit in with this Snaznaya vibe. I mean, it has a lot of relations with the Fatui, so I mostly see Nod Krai as a Fatui vibe, even though the Fatui originates from Snaznaya. Nod Krai, it just doesn't fit in. I mean, the same goes with Natlan, but I grew used to it, and it was also a refresher of trying out new mechanisms, playable character-wise. The characters of Nod Krai are awesome sauce, but it's this feeling or setting I can't describe as I already explained at the beginning of this video. So anyway, what are your thoughts on Nod Krai so far? Let me know down in the comments. I'd be happy to know about your opinion.